everyone,
Hey guys,
and welcome to another episode of Masse Art Studios. I'm Lee.
I'm Jeremy.
And in this episode, some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Not our usual kind of viewing, I would say. If you haven't already, please go check out www.fluidartexperience.com. It's our live and in-person event in April, the 27th to the 29th in Seattle, where ourselves and 10 of our pals are all teaching classes and giving you the opportunity to learn tips and tricks from us all. You can do swipes, you can do Dutch pours, you can do pearls, you can do
balloons,
and you can do blobs.
Yeah.
So our class is actually a blob class. A blob class. Yeah. We did a Paul class, now we're doing a blob class. We're doing a blob class. So in this episode, I'm going to show you one of my blobs. Still obsessed with it. A slightly different substrate this time around. I'll show you what I do to that wooden panel before I get blobbing. But yeah, that's me. What are you doing?
I'm doing something really different.
You are.
Yes. I got inspired by all the Geode artwork with the resin that people are doing.
Yeah.
Except I took it a little bit differently.
You did?
Yes.
Very differently, in fact.
Yes.
So why don't you stick around for that too? And then we do have some dried results to show you at the very, very end. So again, if you haven't already, please check out www.fluidartexperience.com. And we'll see you at the very end for some dried results.
Yeah.
So something a little different this time. I started with a wooden board that I applied resin to just the top. I put a resin dam all the way around the board and actually just resin the top. So the sides are painted black and then there's resin just sitting on the top so that it was nice and shiny, which is something that I've not done before. So these paints are all mixed to exactly the same consistency as they're all acrylic paints. And this is 25% paint, 25% gloss varnish, that's the Liquitex product with the yellow orangey label, and then 50% Mod Podge, and that will give you a blobbing consistency. I have played around with this recipe a lot. That will absolutely work for anything like a Liquitex Basics paint, an Arteza paint, anything that you'd consider a level 2. If you go to a heavy body, you're going to have to use less of it, or you put in more of the gloss varnish. And if you use a pouring paint, you're going to have to probably put in a lot of Mod Podge in order to get anything near this. So my advice to you is stick to the level 2s and you can't go wrong. A couple of things I'm doing as I'm blobbing, some hints and tips for you. Store these bottles upright so that the nozzle is pointing downwards. You can do this by making a contraption or just cutting the bottom out of a plastic cup and then just standing the bottle in it. And as you can see me there just squirting out a little bit onto a paper towel, I do that just to make sure that if there are any air bubbles at the bottom of the nozzle, then I'm going to squeeze those out before I squeeze my blob. I've got 9 colours here. These are all leftover paints, so I'm just going to keep blobbing on this canvas and I'll show you this piece over 4 days. It takes 24 hours for each of these blobs to dry and then you can do the next layer.
I'm starting to dream. Open your eyes. Open up wide, there's no time for lies. It's hard not to let go. And when somebody tells you I told you so, turn up the radio and bring us up, up, up. I wonder what is missing when we feel the way we feel, we do it right. Everything you're given, will someone give back to you in time? Physical, indescribable.
one thing you just saw me do there was torch. You can absolutely torch these, and you need to, because there will still be air bubbles as you're squeezing this paint out of your tube, so don't be afraid to torch. Now what I'm doing is just filling some of the smaller gaps with some smaller blobs, using again all the 9 colours. So, as I say, just 24 hours later you can then apply your next layer, so this will take you as many days as many layers that you have. However, if your blobs are bigger than, say, the bottom of a jelly jar or a jam jar, then they're going to take longer to dry. I'm actually doing a blob piece right now where it's just one huge blob on a 10 by 10 inch substrate, and that's going to take at least 2 or 3 days to dry. But anything this size, just 24 hours between each blob. Another hint and tip for you is to keep the nozzle directly in the center of where you're trying to blob. I personally like keeping the nozzle in the paint because I feel like it gets a better kind of even consistency, even flow. And when you use metallics, by keeping the nozzle in the actual paint, then you don't get any kind of weird stuff in the actual metallic paint. You can kind of see different kind of almost flows of colour for some reason in metallics, but if you keep the nozzle inside the metallic paint, it'll be fine. So just doing the same again, applying another layer onto all the blobs, torching as I go along, squeezing that little bit out of the bottle first, and then on we go. My final piece. I'll show you the dry results at the very end, so stick around. Now over to Jeremy and some really cool resin work, something I've never seen before. Stick around for this, guys, because it's really awesome. Thank you.
Okay guys, I'm so excited about today because I'm playing with resin, and as you can see, I got some fun things going on here. These are molds that I got from fluid-art.co, and they have all kinds of molds that you can play with resin with. This is for K-cups. This is a K-cup holder that I'm resining with and playing with, and as you can see, like, I got the top done. This is so cool. I just love this so much. So this is gonna be the top. And as you can see, I used this little piggy, some pigments, and I've used gold flakes, and I've used real quartz crystals to like make this geode kind of effect with it. And I'm gonna be showing you how I did that with this piece, and I put a small layer of resin in here with a little bit of this little piggy's ore. I used that for the gold, and for the white, I used, this is Whitehaven that I've used for it. So I'm gonna be using that today, and I'm gonna make this into this today. So I will be showing you how to do that. As you can see, I got a couple of these done already as far as getting some of the crystals done on here, but I'm going to show you how I add the quartz crystals to it. So the resin that I'm using today is Mixed Media Girls resin. I love this resin. It's like glass. It's so great. And you can get that at mixedmediagirl.com. And I think I should go ahead and get started here in a second. This is the shards of glass that I'm using, because all of this stuff that you see right here is actually what's called diamond dust, and it's crystal shards or glass shards mixed with the Whitehaven and mixed with the ore of this little piggies. So that's what makes up all of this that you see here. I also used some gold flakes, 24 karat gold glass glitter shards. And you know what? I have to find out where we got this from. I'll have to put that link in the description box. And I got my crystal shards here from Amazon Top Plaza. And these are just all crystal shards that I got. I actually hot glued these together, which is a precursor to how I put my shards on my resin pieces. So you're gonna get to see that too. And I'm gonna go ahead and get to mixing my resin. I'm gonna make 14 ounces of resin and to play with all this today. And I'll be right back, because it's gonna take me 5 minutes to resin this. to mix the resin. All right, guys, be right back. Okay, guys, so I mixed my resin together, and that's 14 ounces of resin that I'm gonna be using today. And the reason why I mix so much is because I'm gonna be doing it in this mold, and in these molds also. So I needed a little bit of resin there. And now I'm going to show you how I'm gonna turn this and this into this. And so let me put this aside here and get a little cup, because what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to put a little bit of resin in this cup. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna get some of this Whitehaven right here, this little piggy. You wanna be really careful with this stuff, guys. And I'm going to take a little bit of this here, dump it into this cup, put it outside, close this up, so that way I don't breathe in any of these fumes. And then I'm gonna take a little stick and I'm gonna mix this up very gently. I got that Whitehaven really mixed up good in there. It's so pretty. I love this stuff. It is so beautiful. So after I get my Whitehaven and my resin mixed in together, what I'm going to do is I want to take some of this right here, and I'm gonna take all this diamond dust and I'm gonna pour some into this cup to mix with that Whitehaven. And I want this to be a thick consistency because when I pour this out, I don't want it to spread too much. I want it to kind of lump. So I'm going to take some of this and I'm going to pour it right in the center of this. Okay, now that I have my mound here, what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna take a little bit of this resin here and I'm going to just put it around. Now that resin is self-leveling. And as you can see, like there's that gold and that Whitehaven stripes that I put in there, that little mixture. I'm actually gonna add more of that on top of this. And let me show you how I do that. So I get some of this ore here. Okay, now I got that ore mixed up really good. I'm literally going to just take some and I'm going to make some more lines right through it. And around the edges here. That's all I want to do, is just make a little bit of some more lines in there to give it some definition, make it look really cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this one aside. Right there, and let that go ahead and sit. Now I'm gonna take one that I've already done, and as you can see, like it has all the lumps made, all the mounds made and everything, and I've taken the crystals and put them on there. I've taken the glass and put that on there. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm actually gonna take a glue gun. I'm gonna take a glue gun that I have here, and I'm actually going to hot glue crystals together and put them in places around the edges, so that way it makes it look a little bit more geode-like. And then I'm gonna pour some more resin in with that, and I'm gonna let that sit and mold into that shape. So, but you gotta remember, you're still sticking K-cups in here, so don't put crystals this way, because then you won't be able to get the K-cups in there. So, and you gotta be aware of like all the K-cups sticking, you know, mold sticking, you know, square like that. So you have to be careful on where you put everything at. But I'm not gonna use, this one I'm gonna use in the big one here, but I have a bunch of little crystal shards here that I'm gonna use, and I'm gonna put here and there. So let's go ahead and do that.
Oh, guilty or not, you're spreading, let me steer you. Now let me steer you while you shoot. What's the essence in every lesson? When uphill is a blessing. Ah me down your telephone. Oh, we don't know, we think we're broken or alone. It's not true.
Okay guys, so as you can see, I hot glued some crystals on here, and what I'm gonna do next is that I'm gonna add some more of that Whitehaven to some crystals, and I'm gonna just place them around where I hot glued, so that way you can see, like, you don't see like where I hot glued them. It's just gonna be more of the crystals surrounding it. And that's how I get that effect with, like right here and around all the crystals. I just add more of the glass to it. So it makes it look like it's coming out of it instead of just being like next to it. Okay guys, now that I have my glass shard set and everything with that Whitehaven, and I got my crystals all glued in there, what I'm gonna do next is that I'm gonna pour more resin in here just to like hold everything together better. So I'm just gonna literally drizzle resin.
If I wait too long, I might just hit the wall.
Okay, so now this one is done. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue this style, this resin work like this, where I put a little bit of gold just through the resin work. And that's how the process is, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to continue doing this on all of my molds and show you at the end it all together. So this is what it's all gonna come out to right here, looking like this. So I hope you learned a little bit, and thanks guys.
So there you have it. There you have it, folks. Alright, so what did you think of this little beauty then? I'm sure, Pony, if I may just get on this side, because there's some chairs in the way. What you can see this time around, and something that's a little different to any of the blobs I've done previously, and you can tell by the wonderful sheen, is that this one had a resin coat on it. It was actually a TLP resin, which I absolutely loved.
Galaxy.
Galaxy, it was Galaxy. And it's this wonderful kind of shiny black. And then on top of that, we've got all these wonderful blobs. Mixture of all of my leftover colours. There's Artezas, there's Liquitex Basics, there's a bit of everything in here.
It's so pretty.
I really enjoyed this one, but I really enjoy all my blobs. The Show Pony, I am obsessed. And if you do take that class with us, you're going to get a pre-painted substrate and enough colours already mixed for you, plus we'll mix one together that you'll be able to create a blob piece in Seattle with us that you'll then be able to take home. Super fun, right? Show Pony, tell me about your wonderful resin piece.
Oh my God, I loved doing this. I love the mold that I had that I got from the Fluid Art Co.
Fluid-art.co.
Yes, and I just loved how I used the different layers at different times to like get that composition,
right.
And using the mounds of the crushed glass and the real quartz crystals in it. Like, I just thought I loved it. I loved doing it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Jeremy loves playing, just as I do, our PlayStation, and one of the games that is on there is Subnautica, and it has all these little kind of rock like outcrops, and that's what it reminds me of.
Oh, nice.
It's definitely some like alien planetary fare, but it's also very useful because it's going to hold our K-cups.
It is.
I love it. It was really cute. Well done, Show Pony. So today there definitely is a train, and I believe the train is actually longer than normal. We've got Gina following us, probably Mina, but then there is the Pouring with the Fellas collab.
Yeah, the Pouring with the Fellas collab.
And I think Nate and Brian, Cy Frost, Nick is in there. I'm sorry if I'm missing anyone because I've only seen some of the previews of your pieces, but there's, Jan Christensen's in there.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, so there's definitely a pouring train that's a big one. Please go check everyone out because these guys have done some wonderful, wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
I guess that is it. Thank you for joining us. We're sorry we weren't here on Tuesday. We had an ice and winter storm.
Yeah.
Which left us a little incapacitated.
Yeah.
But we are back to regular viewing, so we'll see you back here on Tuesday.
All right. See you on Tuesday, guys.
See you then. Bye. So now it's time to spank the Patreons.
It is time to spank the Patreons.
And who are the Patreons? Well, they're a really special bunch of people.
Yes.
Who've decided to come and follow us outside of the YouTube channel. It's a completely separate account, and people can opt into different tiers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those different tiers allow people different rewards. So, for example, at one level, there's behind the scenes pictures and videos and sneak peeks of what we do in the studio. And then at another level, there is a once a month live stream exclusively just for those gold level Patreons. And then at another level, they also get a once a month live tutorial.
Yes.
Where we might take an individual technique and walk through it step by step by step by step. So we really appreciate these guys because they're coming to us and supporting us outside of the channel. It means an awful lot to us.
It does mean a lot to us.
So we have some thank yous. And at that gold level, we have Trisha West, we have Terry Leshner, we have Tammy Housebrook, we have Stephanie Hancock, we've got Sharon Luffy, the wonderful Pocket Rocket Patsy Petrelli. We've got Nate Bright Art. We've got Mamadoulis. We have Linda Serieni. We've got Kelly Stowell of Feral Arts.
Yeah.
We've got Jane Klein and Gloria Salaki. We have Gillian Kennedy,
Yes.
Bell's Creations. We have Elizabeth Giuliano. We have Kathy J. And we have Amy, aka Crafty Chicken Mom.
Yes.
And
then on our platinum level, we have Susan Shepperson, Susan Chigori, Judith Jones Art, we have Janice Pittman, and we have Elaine Burton.
oh my gosh, we all know and love and's been with us pretty much from day one.
Yes.
As most of you have. So thank you so very much for being with us.
Yes.
We really genuinely do appreciate you and your support. It allows us the opportunity to keep painting and keep doing fun stuff for you guys. So thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
And to everyone else that's down here below, we honestly can't thank you enough. really does mean the world to us. So thanks guys.